honored to be here. Thank you very much for Keystone inviting me. They are always wonderful, very sweet to me from past 30 years. Having said that, it's Madhegoda spoke quite a lot, and also Nitin Roy also spoke quite a lot about it. And so what I'm going to do is today is that I've been working with Soliga community from past 30 years. I'm going to, and Madhegoda spoke about traditional knowledge, how it's connected and everything. And then I have some evidences that some experiences doing as a researcher, I was doing some experiment, how the traditional knowledge is interlinked with the scientific knowledge. That's what I was trying to focus on. And it's very clear from past 2 days, it's the third day, everybody agrees that the forest landscapes are very important for sustainable development of both the community and also the forest landscapes. And also the colonial rules have disturbed a lot for us, and the people are not able to demonstrate their knowledge, their what they would like to do for their ecosystem. Everybody understand that. And also lack of understanding between the forest and the common in our society. We never believed community, the lot of us. Everybody thinks that we need to conserve the forest and we have to relocate people. That's what we have been talking about it. There's a, uh, Nitin Roy gave a great speech in the morning. The community conservation practices and knowledge have value and the strength. That's what I believe in. And this overarching approach is, environmental issues are interlinked to the conservation issues. It's very clear. And you can't address conservation issues without addressing the environmental issues. The biodiversity conservation, forest degradation, and sustainability are the important aspect of conservation. At the same time, the livelihood issues are like a human health and the sustainable development of the community and social justice and democratic governance are the important things we need to concentrate on. So they are interlinked, and then we need to address both. Having said that, I would like to take you all to BRT Tiger Reserve. This is one of the popular tiger reserve where community and the tiger coexist. And Madhegoda said, purposefully I have put that, this landscape of Soligas, the tiger reserve, BRT Tiger Reserve, and it's the landscape of Soligas, right? So the tiger population has increased, and Mr. Modi also spoke about the community and tiger coexist in the landscape, and that's where we are coming from. And then the community, there's a very rich in biodiversity and cultural diversity, and then the Soligas have been living in this landscape for millennia. And then Madhegoda spoke about this, the Soliga worship stones, water, trees, forest, wild animals, and the deep knowledge of flora and fauna. This the research paper I was reading about. The what's good for culture survival is also good for forest health, and what's good for forest health is also good for cultural survival. The Dennis Martin. That's what it indicated the paper. And also this community have been seeing that Madhegoda spoke about all these things. I don't want to go in deep. And what I found was we wrote a manual on sustainable use of forest resources long back, actually on NTFP collection, how people have to collect NTFP, things like that. I'm very proud to be working with A-Tree because, as Madhegoda said, we speak to people. Unless we speak to people and take their opinion, we don't write the proposal most of the time. That's actually good for us and also for the community. And then we wrote a manual, and also in that manual, we write sustainable harvest of forest resources. And I was thinking that, we, first of all, we need to understand what kind of knowledge they have, what kind of sustainable practices they do, and, and then strengthen that with the scientific knowledge, right? So what I was trying to say is here is that the, the, the sacred trees, like a Terminalia bellarica, for example, in my manual, I didn't write much about it because people are already, each and every individual of the trees are worshipped in the forest landscape, and all the individuals, they don't worship one individual of the species, each and every individuals. And also they never cut the branch. They never damage the trees. So that's the system they have in place. So we should all appreciate those things. And also that our Roti Abba, their festivals are linked to the forest landscapes, and they worship tiger. Madegoda spoke about it. And also they've been facing a lot of issues with respect to human wildlife conflict, and the people are not able to cultivate traditional crops because of the human wildlife conflict is increasing. And they started doing cultivating coffee. On top of it, they were able to cultivate traditional crops, some of them, to celebrate their traditional festivals and then worships and things like that. And also, these are the some of the things Madhagoda spoke about it, and this is the map that Madhagoda spoke about it. The sacred map the A3 produced, spending 3.5 years working with the Soliga elders, and then we were able to find 480 sacred sites in 540 square kilometer of the forest. Do you call this as a tiger reserve or as a forest, the sacred sites of Soligas? That's what we call, right? So this and then I was also doing some PRA exercise with the community. And then this is long back when immediately, the first research was carried out by Ravi Hegde, trying to understand, trying to do a socioeconomic study, the household study by Ravi Hegde around 30 years back, 25 years back. At that time, I was also like, he concluded that 50% of the community depend on forest for 50 to 60% of their income comes from non-timber yielding forest product. That's what he said. And Solikas never read that paper. I was trying to trying to do this PRA exercise with the community and then work with them and trying to understand what they think about it. This is the pie diagram produced by the Soliga community. There are elders sitting this side, and then I was fascinated with the children. I took a picture from this side. That's Madegoda long back. Okay. And it's exactly they concluded Ravi Hegde spent 3 years doing household survey of 250 household surveys and eating head of, everybody's time to, 1 hour interviewing people and everything. But this is what he found. The 50% of the cash income Soliga household may come from extraction of MTFP, may come from, not sure about it, right? The Soligas sure about this, they are depending on forest resources or 50%. So this is what that fascinated me. And also I was talking to them, what are the threats to the forest? Trying to understand what they think about it. They thought that the lantana is terrible for them. The 70% of the forest is full of lantana. This is what they said. And also the forest fire is also one of the problems. Why forest fire? What is mean by forest fire in their sense is that now the accumulation of the lot of biomass in the forest is leading to the canopy fire. That is what the problem for them. That is what they indicated. This is a threat analysis being done, and we AT started working on these issues. Top threats. How do you control those threats? And this is what we are focused on. And also this, like the Matagoda said, this is the experiment, wonderful experiments being carried out in BRT Tiger Reserve with collaboration of WWF India, NCBS, and also Shola Trust and A3, all distinguished faculties, scientists. And what we are trying to do is removing lantana and see what happens to the flora and fauna after removal. That's one thing. And secondly, do a litter experiment, litter fire experiment the Soligas have been talking about for quite some time, and see what happens. And also after removing a lantana, do grass seeding and see what happens. This is what we have been doing. And then the changes you can see that after removal and before removal, I don't need to read those numbers. You can read it yourself. But encounter rate was quite high after lantana has been removed. That's the fire experiment. We had to do a lot of exercise for this to get the permission in Tiger Reserve to do this experiment. It was not so easy for me, but able to do it. That's the litter fire experiment where I'm standing. And this is the forest type classification. That's one thing we are trying to understand how people classify the forest. According to Dr. B.R. Ramesh, is classified BRT Tiger Reserve tiger reserve into 4 different types of forest types, like a scrub, deciduous, evergreen, shola, and grassland. And then we sat with the people. I didn't indicate everything, but as Madhegoda said, they identified 25 different types of forest. And then these are the, I was like, fascinated by this map as well. And one of the things I was super fascinated about this was that I was doing the participatory resource monitoring exercise again, trying to understand how people are estimating productivity. And then I've been, to understand the sustainable harvest, you need to understand 3 things. Number one, production level. And second one is extraction level. And third one is regeneration level, how the plants are regenerating. The first level, trying to understand what is the productivity of gooseberry, for example, on yearly. I was estimating using scientific method, using 10 transect, 1 kilometer transect, measuring trees and counting number of fruits and everything I was doing. It took quite a lot of time. And then I was also doing a PRA exercise. I went to village to do a PRA exercise. First year, what I did was I took them to the forest, all of them with 2 jeeps. Okay. And then we came back. So I told them that, try to see how much is available in the forest. I want visual estimation from you people, the Soliga elders. That's what I told them. I took them to forest, and then it came back. And then they told me, sir, to do this, why did you take us to the forest? You come and sit with us, and I will tell you how much is available in the forest. Next year onwards, I didn't take them to forest. I just went to the village and sat with them peacefully and asked them, because they are going to the forest every day. They observe. They will tell you how much is available. You need to write down, right? So I did a comparative study. This is amazingly comparable for 5 years. This is a significant data, right? The transect method used by me scientifically is the productivity estimation done by the community usually are amazingly comparable. What else data you need, right? This is what I feel. What I strongly tell you people is that we have a handful of scientists in India. How many scientists? 200, 300, 500, 1,000. What can we do? If you are able to make use of the community, not make use of, encourage them, sorry to use that word, encourage them and build our capacity to make use of their knowledge, let me put it that way. And then you will be able, we have 60 million people, and they'll be able to do wonderful job in terms of using their traditional knowledge to protect the forest. I'm pretty much sure about it. This is where we have to invest our energy and effort. The government should really think about it. That's what I would like to say in this map. And one more thing, what happened was I was doing the PRA exercise. I wanted to continue after 2002, 2003 as well. What happened to that? And there was an order from the central government, and they said the people should not go to forest to harvest gooseberry. They were not allowed. And the DCF said they can't go. All of a sudden, within a week, okay, the letter came to the DCF. And they were not able to go to the forest. In that particular year, there were plenty of fruits available in the forest because I was doing a transect. And what happened that year was that, and then I went to do an PRA exercise with them. They told us, sir, we are not allowed to go to the forest. Why we would like to do PRA exercise? Why? What is the point of doing productivity estimation? Anyway, we are not allowed to go to the forest. That is what they said. What does it mean that? The tenure is an important aspect. The tenure, the ownership. If they don't have ownership, why would they conserve? They will conserve, I know. But the tenure and the rights are important aspect of conservation. That's what I feel. Okay. And then having said that, I was wondering what to do, how to get ownership to them. And then the Forest Right Act came. And then we thought, believe me or not, um, this Assis Kotari and other people are involved in formulating the Forest Right Act. I can tell their name now. And then they were helpful for us to organize meetings and things like that, talk to people, and then talk to them about Forest Right Act. We were able to do quite a lot of groundwork in terms of creating awareness to the civil society organizations and the communities and the community institution, everybody. And the Soliga Abhivruddhi Sangha took a lead. Thanks to Madegowda, and there was a Madappa, there's a person. And then we are able to achieve quite a bit. 22,000 people received the community rights in BRT Tiger Reserve. That's the first time in the history of protected areas in India. People were able to get the rights. 2,050 Soligas have received individual cultivation rights in this landscape. And this is, I don't want to go in detail. And then Madegowda and Soliga Abhivruddhi Sangha, BRDILs, MMLs, Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, and Bandipur Tiger Reserve. And then they were able to work, and this is individual rights data anyway. And then this is an opportunity we have. Everybody feel that, most of us. And then when Forest Right Act came into picture, I was listening to a PCCF talk. And what PCCF was telling everyone in the auditorium is that the Forest Right Act is very bad. Everybody, we have to give 10-acre land. How it's possible? This is what he's saying. The act doesn't say everybody will get 10-acre land. If you have half acre, you'll get rights to half acre, 1 acre, 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre. This is the basic information. The people were like misinterpreting the law like this. This is true. I'm not lying. This is the thesis here. Okay, long back. Under the Forest Right Act is actually gives an opportunity for people to conserve the forest. 3.1 high gives an opportunity for people to conserve the forest. This is the one we have to make use of that. The protect wildlife and forest and biodiversity, and ensure that adjoining catchment area, water source, and other ecological sensitive areas are adequately protected. Ensure that the habitat of the forest dwelling scheduled tribes is preserved from any form of destructive practice affecting their culture and natural heritage. Wonderful. This we are currently working on CFR, right? CFR management plan now. And from past, I'll come to that later. This is what the framework look like. It's connected to the livelihood enhancement and prosperous life of the community, and the forest conservation and sustainable use, and the equity and justice, and promoting democratic process and biodiversity environment. It's all connected. It's all interlinked. I think we should definitely make use of this hack to so the community can be engaged in conservation of the biodiversity. At the same time, we can enhance the livelihood of the people. And this is the main parts of the template, or like a parts of the templates are current status of the CFR areas they have to estimate, and the needs for the CFR areas, and threat to CFRs, and plan for addressing the threats and needs, and support and assurance required for the state agency and others, forest-based livelihood enhancement, duration of the plan. This is how the CFR plans need to be planned. This is very, super, it's beautifully done, I think. And yeah, and so far we are able to do from past 3 years, we are able to work with the community very closely to trying to understand what are the threats to the forest and everything. We had workshops with the forest department as well. We had so many workshops, around 2,500 people participated in the CFR management plan that we are community is developing. This is, I would say, community-led CFR management plan. We are just facilitating and trying to understand. There's so many workshops being carried out. And then outcomes, the forest and the wildlife conservation, the wild animals are also part of their life and coexistence. That is what they said. And then they said community-based resource management should be part of management plan. The problem of invasive species, that's what need to be addressed. And they encourage traditional litter fire. The Madegowda mentioned that. The manual removal of hemiparasite on gooseberry trees need to be tackled. Sustainable harvest of NTFPs, control of poachers and hunters. And the community are interested in doing this and helping forest department on this. the ban on plastic. They were worried about their landscape. And tourism department, tourism development, drinking water for wildlife, human wild animal conflict. I just taken this main important points that they mentioned. Livelihood related one, NTFP collection and tender by the community. Livelihood from eradication of the lantana eradication, creating a livelihood opportunity through lantana removal. That's one of the things they mentioned. Construction of check dams for water conservation for wildlife, provide fishing rights to the community, involve Soliga use in forest, conservation of tiger. They would like to, they would like to contribute to that. A smokeless stoves, they want to reduce the amount of fuel would use, and ecotourism. And the NTFP and agriculture produce value addition enterprise-based conservation. That's what also the governance and management, the Gram Sabha at village level, we are working on that. They are working on that. And then Gram Sabha at range level, because the forest, the resource being collected at the range level. So they would like to do the Gram Sabha at the range level apex body. The forest officer NGO should be part of a range, the district level committees to give advice. That is what they felt. And also thanks to this project and after getting rights, we also got a grant from Ministry of MSME. Thanks to Keystone, is a technical agency of this project. We have enterprise-based conservation model, and 8,000 people are, 800 people are members of this processing unit. Madama is a president from the community. This is what I wanted to share. Thank you very much for everyone listening to me peacefully. I would like to thank staff, collaborators, and funding agency, and also Karnataka Forest Department for the encouragements. Thank you, Ananda.